got so many people throwing the goddamn fire today.
Oh, all right. I'm starting
this.
Hello. I don't know what's going on, y'all. It was a delay. But we in the building. Okay, we here.
We here.
Oh, how are y'all
trying
doing?
To figure out where it's
coming from.
What's wrong?
I said I'm trying to figure out where it's coming from.
What's she talking about?
I said I was trying to figure out where it's coming from. The thing. Okay, it was when I was sharing the screen when I was showing y'all something earlier. I kept hearing talking.
Oh, okay.
We all like,
okay, because we live Moochie, so
I know.
Oh, okay.
How's everybody feeling tonight?
Good, ready to talk about
this. I'm still getting it together, but I'm good.
Yes, y'all. Hello, y'all. Okay, get on in here because we talking about Reasonable Doubt and Kendall. Yes, Tony, and what's his name, Terrence. Both of them can sit the hell down, but we gonna talk about it.
I ain't mad with Terrence.
And I told y'all Jackson's
and Sally too. She can kick rocks.
Yeah,
I ain't mad with Terrence. No,
yeah, I got a problem with him too, but we don't talk about it.
He should mind his MF business, but I ain't mad with him, you know.
So that was the big question: was Jack gonna be, feeling the vibe, accepting what Lewis was putting down?
I was feeling what he was putting down. I was feeling it all down to my toes. Okay. I was feeling it.
Oh God! I felt like she was because, like we was discussing, I just felt like the affirmations, everything that she needed to hear that she was saying she never heard. He said, but I did think it was gonna be like, let's take it slow. Moochie, what you think?
He took it slow, all right.
Yeah, he sure did.
Slow.
Oh God.
Go ahead, Moochie.
I think you on mute, Moochie.
Yeah, I'm mute.
Look, she wants her husband back. I ain't mad at her. I'm glad they worked on their marriage. And they
look at Erica name. Hi, Erica.
She want Jax to leave him. She don't want
them together.
Erica don't want them together.
You don't want them together, Erica?
She said no. It's a no for me, dog.
She said, I'm big mad at her. Look, hold up. I wanted her to sleep with Corey Cash too. Okay. I wanted her to sleep with Corey Cash too. Don't get me wrong. You know I like dude.
He's a loser. I don't know what Erica is watching. She's looking at something else.
She said he is a loser.
I love you, Erica, though, but I disagree. But we love you. I love
you too, boo. But I'm a Lewis fan, so we got to part ways on this one. But I still love you though.
Yeah, we can agree to disagree. It's cool, It's all cool.
Let us know in the chat. Was y'all here for this, or was y'all like hell to the no?
But for a mediocre man.
Oh Lord, Lord, Lord.
You know
She said
something?
a mediocre man.
I ain't even gonna say what I was gonna say.
I don't think he mediocre, but I will say some things that I feel like is definitely his weakness, child. But like, okay.
Yeah, that's
got us.
Inga got her fire up. Watch
I
out.
didn't really care about this
Erica
part.
Bain have been in the mission. Nah, Erica, we ain't throwing you in the fire.
No, the way that I guess Lewis laid it down, honey, because Jax woke up with a pep in her step, talking about she slept better than she ever slept in her damn life.
I know that's right. Yeah, she slept real good.
Oh God.
I know that is right.
Anybody had any thoughts on this whole?
Yeah, I got thoughts on this little girl popping off at the mouth. All right, she need to get the strap if she keeps on talking slick. I don't like the little girl.
Yes, ain't no arguments about Morris chestnuts, honey. All day fine.
She getting on my nerves smelling herself.
Right. Mm-hmm. After these little girls get their menstrual cycle, they started getting a little slick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I ain't got a daughter, because we be all probably in here fighting.
Oh Lord. They both starting to want to like branch off. These are those teenage years. The crazy thing for me is I didn't go through it with the teenage years. My son waited all the way to 21. He was cool from baby all the way up to 21. But you know, they always got to have their time to shine, so to speak. So
yes, I agree with EJ in this, that she has her flaws. Why are we beating up on Lewis? She ain't all together. I said that in my live last week. I was like, women be pointing the finger at the men. You had pointing some fingers at yourself. Your stuff is funky too. So I don't think it's all just on Lewis. He screwed up and didn't wear the condom. That's where he screwed up at. But otherwise, she got some issues herself.
Yeah, they both got issues, but it's like we said, what is the balance? Like, what are you willing to deal with and not deal with? Okay.
That's the truth of the matter, though. It really does all come down to that, because there are some people who wouldn't be able to handle that situation where a baby is involved. It doesn't matter how much I care about you or how much I love you or that you're even my person. It don't matter that I might go out here and find some absolute trash. If I do leave you, I just can't deal with the fact of knowing that there's another woman having a baby by you. That's how some people are. Me personally, I'm going to go with what the heart really says. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like Lewis didn't cheat. That's where I draw the line, because to me, Lewis never cheated. He just messed up big time.
He did not cheat.
But he didn't cheat. And that's the part where I say, can you find forgiveness? You know, like, and that's what you got to ask yourself. Can you forgive and forget and move forward? Is this your person or not?
But what about this comment from Erica saying it's not all just on Lewis, but he isn't doing nearly as much work in their marriage as Jack is? She's doing a whole bunch in the marriage.
What you talking about? Manual labor or like working?
No, in the marriage, I guess you meant maybe keeping the marriage together. I don't know. I don't.
No, I want her to. Shoot, we need to send her the link so she could come up.
I'm telling you, I said,
Erica, do you want to come up?
I'm telling you,
we're calling you out.
I'm about ready to throw Erica up in this fire back here.
We calling you out so the conversation could be saucy.
She said, "How can I get an invite?"
I'm gonna send it to you right now. I'm gonna send it to your Instagram.
Come on, Erica about to go toe to toe.
Mika, can you send me the link so I can send it to Erica? Please. I need to know.
I need to know, because she must know something that we don't know. Or maybe I ain't
because Erica be going in. I saw her.
Yeah, she be going in. I followed a couple of them.
Her channel. I follow her channel. I listen, and she be saying she be tearing Lewis up.
I know.
I heard on TikTok.
I can't stand Lewis.
I heard on TikTok.
She act like Lewis is Ike Turner or something. You know what I mean?
Like he heard that. Like he heard that wrist. taking.
She about to come tell us. She about to come tell us. Let me know when you
Yes, Kendall. Lewis does everything in the home. Cooking, taking care of them raggedy kids.
Rocking them to sleep when they got
No, you didn't say the raggedy kids.
Yeah, F them kids. That's what Jack said. F them kids.
Look, he rocking them to sleep when they got fevers and
right,
all of
throwing
that
up
stuff.
on them and all kind of stuff.
You talking about he's a mediocre man?
And he ain't putting in no work. What is he doing? Ain't like he out there at the parties, hanging out at the clubs or something. That was JT. She must be getting him confused with JT. I think that's what it is.
Yes, okay.
I think Erica getting him confused with JT.
Okay, I'm almost there, Erica. I'm ready for this right now. I gotta hear this.
She said she been waiting. She will tear us up, y'all. Y'all, she will tear us up. She been waiting to do a convo with people who love Lewis. She gonna get into our sales up here. I love it. I love a good conversation. You know?
What did y'all think about Corey with this apology and when he said that he hoped that she was gonna be okay and Jack laughed in his face?
He's still flirting. He's still flirting in his own little subtle way. He flirt. His fine ass self.
I thought he was saying, "Look, I'm apologizing, but I hope you change your mind and give me some of that cookie."
Yes, Candy. I'm gonna put my stuff on mute. Thank you.
Me too, because you know I'll be extra.
I'm gonna behave.
Oh, 1 minute.
Stage.
Hi. Is it Tamika? This is your live, but it's being streamed because I popped in. I think from Moochie's channel. I think so. Is this?
It's our
Tamika's
hosting, but we all streaming.
We all streaming.
Okay.
Hey, boo.
Well, hi. Thank you for the link.
Listen,
Thank y'all for the link.
Our mics on mute.
Yeah, even though I don't think you
all of this, I'm about to put on mute.
I know you don't know me, but I do follow your page. I be listening to you going in all the time.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. No, I really I said in my live this week that I wanted to have a conversation with people who are rooting for Lewis. And I want to be clear of I have very strong feelings about him, but my feelings are not to disrespect anybody who sees it for him. It's just, we just see things a little bit differently. And I am very clear that my lived experiences inform so much of how I think. And sometimes we have different lived experiences. So it's cool. I
say that all the time when we doing these. We all going to have a different perception based sometimes off of our experiences, our beliefs, all of that stuff comes into it. And sometimes, some things be getting a little triggering. Okay.
Yeah. So, well, I don't want to Tamika, you tell me what you want to do and I'll respond because I don't want to be overly too much.
Girl, we listening. I'm here for I need to know what that comment was. I need to know. I'm waiting.
For me, it's the you think that Lewis is Ike Turner. Why is it for me in our community? Why do things have to be so polar? You can still not be good enough and not be Ike and not be Diddy and not be da 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 da. And I think that is the thing that is pushing me within my commentary about Lewis this season is that I'm so settled in a place of not settling and thinking that women shouldn't settle. We need to keep pushing the envelope, keep pushing for more and get what we deserve and not just what we believe the world has to offer for us. So I cannot get on board with Lewis as a character because I think that he's mediocre. And it sealed the deal for me when we got the flashbacks. When I first started watching the show, my intuition told me something is not right with Lewis. Yes, Jax has her thing. She slept with the security guard. She, still had unresolved issues with Damon. Cool. And you married, but she didn't cheat either, right? They were separated. Now we get the context this season of the voyeurism he introduced to the relationship. He likes to watch her have sex. So that now colors her sleeping with the security guard, knowing that he was watching because you also made it okay because you actually introduced that when they had the first daughter. We got that backstory. For me, this season especially, we get to see so much of Jax in therapy, but then they're in therapy together, and Lewis is constantly pointing at, like, I did this, I did this, I did this. Meanwhile, he's not making any type of shifts. He's not moving from a passive place to a more active place and making decisions. He's putting all of these things on Jax as to what she is and what she's not. However, she ultimately has not shifted. She's gotten better. And you got with a boss and then wanted her to play not boss in a relationship with you. And I'm of the camp of, like, men need to stop doing that. If you are a mediocre man, go find a mediocre woman. Do not go find a star. Do not go find Black excellence. Do not go find the girl operating in the most Black girl magic and then want her to, like, only compartmentalize that to outside world. And then when you come in here, like the flashback that we got as well, when he was asking about the presentation, right? You want her to play down. You want her to play dumb. You want her to, like, big you up when you're not operating at her level. That's not fair. And I don't think that it's currently, like, normalized in society to talk about the toll that takes on women mentally when we are forced to be in boxes and we're forced to play small and we're forced to, like, acquiesce in a way that diminishes us. And I think that Lewis is constantly putting her through that, and it's not fair.
Okay, well, listen, I can see it from that, because when we first seen him, hold on, okay, so when we first seen him back when this first started in season 1, I was definitely on the side of the fact that Lewis, like, what are we doing, Lewis, right now? Because, you know, Jax is this great woman, right? But you wanted her to stop doing what she was doing so that she could take more of this role at home or whatever it was. He was just tired of her working too much. I did have an issue with that initially, but I feel like Lewis is kind of making these steps towards doing better. I feel like Lewis is trying to do the work as well. Like,
what has he done though?
Huh?
What has he done though, EJ? Besides saying that, what are the actions that are actually in line with that? Because if you would have asked me that, I could tell you the things that Jax has done.
Because I feel like, well, for one thing, I feel like he's definitely not on the level that he was last season, where it was constantly an issue with her work. He's being more understanding when she went back to take the case. Like, he could have went right then. He could have just shut down, because we all knew that was going to be a big issue. But instead, what did he do? To me, it seemed like he really tried to step up. You know, I mean, he's already doing the thing, so he don't really have to step up doing that much, but he didn't go in on her. He just really tried to meet her in the middle.
Can I push back on that really quick?
Go ahead, push
did
back.
Did he do that because he realized how wrong he was to try to force her to choose him or her career? Or did he do that because she was kidnapped, put through a traumatizing situation? He ultimately did want his relationship back, and he would have looked like a dick to be coming at her at the same time that she's processing this mental thing.
Well, I mean, either way, he did it though. That's my whole point.
No, and that's the thing for me. You're in, like, Lewis, to me, I don't think people realize it, because the men like this are in our community. It's like, oh, you're a good man, Savannah, because you're not doing the worst, but you're also not leading with the intentions to do better from a very genuine place. Lewis makes decisions, he says things, and he does things that is self-serving in a lot of ways. And I would use the example in this most recent episode of, like, Naima has this little snarky remark for the new step granddaddy that's on the way. And he gave her that speech because ultimately he's going to try to use that to make it okay that he had a break baby on his mama. He's not doing it because he really feels like Naima is wrong in this moment and she needs to create space for the new step granddaddy. He's doing it to set the stage for himself. And at some point we have to, if you want me to believe that somebody's changed, if you want me to believe that somebody's doing the work, then they need to start doing things for the people around them that they love, not for how it's going to fall back and help them.
Okay, well then, question: what would you like to see Lewis do? Like, what would you say would make Lewis look as if he's doing the work? What would be true and genuine?
Yeah. Well, Moochie, do you want to say something before I go? Because I can tell y'all that, but I want to make sure y'all get your points off.
Before you get to that, I do want to ask a question. So do you feel like Jax is dimming her light once she comes in the home to be submissive to her husband? So that's what your problem is with it?
Yes. On a very surface level, yes. But ultimately, it's not even just the concept of dimming your light. It's the mental and emotional toll that takes on you as a woman.
I could see that in some ways.
I get what you're saying now.
And I did have an issue. I think we talked about, I can't remember if that was last week or the week before, when they both got heated and went below the belt in the office. But remember, I said to y'all, that's my pet peeve. Don't tell me what you did for me if you were supposed to have done it for me out of love. I didn't like that they went there, but I'm glad that they went there when they was with the therapist, and the therapist was kind of able to help them navigate. If they was at home or somewhere else when that happened, then I don't know where they would have went with it. But that bothered me as far as that part. So it's like some things I could see that you saying. Inga, you want to add anything in?
I just want to know what should Lewis be doing in your opinion? What would you like to see if you could write the change the script, or you could be in the writer's room? What would you add to make Lewis be more of the better husband in your eyes?
Well, what I would say is, like, I wouldn't write him differently, because I think that these men exist, and I think that we pedestalize these men in our community. And I love the fact that I can have the conversations that I'm having and like debunk certain things and like call women in of like, yo, this is not actually enough and we ain't gonna be able to make it enough. So I actually wouldn't change Lewis at all if I was writing the scripts. But if Lewis wanted to be a good man, the good man that he claims himself to be, or the great man that he pretends to be, he would need to not be so passive. He basically has the complaint that he's not leading in his household, and he doesn't say that outright, but that's what it all feels like, right? But he's also not the man taking charge. You had a break baby on this woman. Y'all were already in therapy. Jax is making certain concessions. She's doing therapy homework. She's communicating her feelings. She's doing all of the things that's being asked of her, prompted by you in reference to y'all saving y'all's marriage. But you can't be honest in the scope of therapy and say, you know what, I actually did have sex with somebody that you know, and oh my gosh, she's pregnant. This lie that he has behind this break baby is completely unnecessary. He was 100% supported all along to at some point tell her the truth, and he chose not to. That is a weak man. That is a poor leader. Like,
I agree with
no.
I agree with that. We all said that.
Yeah,
in
we
our
all
previous,
about that part. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I agree that he lied about. I mean, he shouldn't have lied. It was no reason to lie. It wasn't because
that's
wasn't
the first
thing, baby. It was a break, and so
he had no reason to lie.
Yeah,
that's the first thing. Now it is about stepping in and owning your stuff. You getting drunk and talking about, oh, I'm sorry, please forgive me, means nothing. What is she supposed to do with your apologies? You need to take command of the situation. They just continue to give me examples of exactly how weak and how much of a loser Lewis is. When Tony pushed back the first time and was like, you don't have to know about the baby, I can raise it by myself. He like, all right, cool. What you mean, all right, cool? And no, it doesn't help that you come back and say, you know what, I can't actually live with that. Because a strong ass man who was actually sorry about it and didn't want this to fall back on his wife and force her back into her masculine, her alpha energy, would have tackled it and would have been more proactive from the jump. Okay, cool. Now we're at the place of, you know what, I can't let that ride. But you're still falling into a passive place now because the conversation around co-parenting is being led by Jax. Everything of the present is being led by Jax. You're putting her in a position. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I was gonna say, you know what's crazy, Erica Vane? When I don't know everybody else take, but when I was watching this episode, I don't feel that he's weak. I don't know what the word. I wouldn't use weak, but I definitely felt way more like this is why sometimes you probably feel like you small, Lewis, because that's the way it seems like they presented it to me, because I did feel like he was being passive. I feel like he kind of goes back and forth and like he's leaning on Jax to take care of certain things, and I didn't like the way he handled the thing with Tony. And then I kind of wish that we saw when he went out with his brother, because I didn't like the way the brother was talking to Jax. It was like, I need him to stand all the way up. But then I see that I had some of those traits myself. Like sometimes I didn't always speak up because it seems to me that he holds it in. And then when he gets angry and it all comes out finally, then that's when he explodes, instead of him just standing up and saying whatever it is from the front. And that's something I used to do. So I can kind of identify with that. You know how they say your kindness people take your kindness as a weakness. So I can kind of see it that way, but I still would not have said he was a weak man. But I definitely did feel that in this episode.
he wouldn't be my man, because there's no way. It's no way that you're gonna go have a break baby on me, and then now I gotta apply pressure to the hoe that you was running around with that you lied on. Like it makes no sense. And you go over there. Tony talks about you need to be there for the first 3 months all the time, as if you don't have no family, and he just standing there like dumb diddy. Like,
and you know he will do it because we already know how he is with the kids. He would definitely do it.
So knowing that, what toll is any of that taking on Jax? Are we taking into consideration how this is actually landing on Jax? And I think it's a fallacy for the audience. No shade to anybody who's rooting for it, but I think it's a fallacy for the audience to buy into like Jax flipping a switch and like, okay, it's fine, I want my marriage, without actually processing all of the weight that comes with the consequences to all of these decisions. She, yes, is trying to be more communicative. She tells Lewis, like, you can't keep apologizing to me because it's only helping you, it's not helping me, which gives the audience a little bit of a clue into like, okay, this is not as peachy keen as she says. But all of it is adding up. All of it is becoming a greater weight. And because Lewis is not even actually being proactive in his own mistakes, in the redemption of himself in his own mistakes, I can't root for him. Like, you're literally playing the background, forcing her to continue to jump through hoops and lead y'all's family somewhere, but yet you want to be dubbed the leader. It's not fair. And she's handling a lot of trauma. She's handling a lot of trauma. And then Lewis, I think he also really lost me in his solo last episode. I think his solo meeting with the therapist, when he's just like, I've been doing everything, I've been trying. We haven't seen you do anything. We have not seen you make any fundamental shifts to who you are. We haven't seen you question your decision making or your mindset. We haven't seen you not once ask, am I showing up for Jax the way that she needs, not just the way that I believe a good man to show up? Because that's the part that we don't take into consideration in relationships. It's like, you could think yourself to be a good man, you could think yourself to be a great father, but you also have to take into consideration the people that you're doing this with. Are you loving them the way that they receive love? And I don't think that that's the case. Meanwhile, Jax is conforming herself to do the things that Lewis is asking, and Lewis is not even asking the question of, am I loving Jax appropriately?
So would you have rather her told Lewis, look, we're going to get a divorce instead of trying to work on the marriage?
Ultimately, yes. I don't think that they should actually be together, because I don't see Lewis getting to a place where he's going to make the fundamental shifts that he needs to actually be the man that should be standing next to Jax. In this episode, though, no, I think that they rushed through their reconciliation and did not give any kind of space for Jax to process. We just saw her sitting on the floor crying after discovering that this was his baby. And now all of a sudden it's fine. And Tony is being a pain in the ass already, but it's fine.
Yeah, I started out by saying I thought that was real fast. I thought we was going to take it slower than that. But, you know,
because I felt like we ain't got that many episodes.
I know we don't got that many episodes, but I'm just saying in general, like, I felt like by them rushing into it that fast, like that made me feel like something else is gonna happen that's gonna make it be an explosion, because we really haven't had time to process this and figure out so many different factors that was gonna factor in, whether it's us telling the kids. And when they went to the therapy session, the doctor did say that he was like, I'm happy y'all seem to be on the same page, but you know, like, we do have some more steps that we have to go through. What you think about that?
I asked a question though
the therapist is proud that they're gonna be together. You know,
well, he feel like he did his
household. Just, you know, you gotta work things out. You know?
I really want to know what y'all feel like Lewis actually does for Jax.
I mean, at the end,
supportive of her.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You don't feel like he's supportive?
I do. I feel he's supportive.
I feel like he's supportive.
He's supportive in how?
I feel like not only is he support. Oh, go ahead, Moochie. I'm sorry.
No,
go ahead.
Let Moochie go ahead.
Oh, I feel like he's supportive with the children, and they basically switched roles. And I get what you're saying with her having masculine energy, but they have switched roles. He's in the house more, so that's his department. She's the breadwinner. So, I mean,
but he doesn't let her actually sit in that role. Like, it's almost like she gets penalized for him having to be a dad.
But I don't necessarily.
I don't have a problem with
I
the
didn't
switching
see
up.
it
I don't
like
have a problem
that.
with a woman being a breadwinner and a man staying at home. But he also, from the inception of the series, that was a problem. He had a problem with her being in that position. So is it actually he's supportive of her? It feels like his support. And sorry, Jax Boo, but he does not love you unconditionally. We were presented in season 1, episode 1 with the conditions of Lewis's love, which is
But
why
don't
we
we
found
get
him living outside the
and,
house.
all from
and
that,
I think that's where we're gonna see a change
But
because
I
he's
think
already.
that's
I feel like the
sorry.
therapist is already telling him that he's not doing right in this relationship. He
But it
didn't want
took for
go
him to have a
therapy.
break baby for the if there is change coming, it took for him to go have a baby and him desiring her forgiveness in this regard for him to now concede and change.
But can we say the same thing about Jax though? Jax
Yeah, I was
almost had
getting
a
ready to
whole
say,
affair
come
with
on.
Carrie. What's his name?
She had a
Dude
whole
was
affair. She was
practically
falling
living
in love
with
with that
her.
guy. It wasn't
Dude
just
was
a
practically living
wham
with
bam,
her.
thank you, ma'am. She was falling in love with that guy.
So Jax had an
that was more
affair, but
relationship
Lewis
he
didn't.
had with him.
I
No,
didn't
that
say
wasn't
that.
what
We
I
didn't
was
say
about
that.
to say. But
They
go ahead.
both were basically doing each other. They took a break. She basically was in a relationship to me. He didn't start messing around till he seen them together.
Right.
So
Okay.
that was something
He was
like
home with the man
this
muscle taking care of
and this
himself.
was exactly, and this was with their marriage. They were doing a tit for tat thing, and that's what I saw.
But even that, like, y'all, so because she got into a pseudo relationship during their break, that gives her negative points. And that proves that Lewis is a good husband because he had to see that to go.
Said.
And so what I was going to say is
but like y'all are like stringing certain things together that don't actually align. For me, it even lends itself to the point that Lewis is not actually a leader because it took for you to see her actually engage with somebody else in a very real way for you to go slide into somebody that you know is a whole raw. Like, you're not even in command of your own self. So you're doing things reactionary, but you're not even doing things based off of what you want. At least I can give Jax the credit of like she did those things because she was really desiring it in the moment. It wasn't just because Lewis did this thing, so now I'm gonna go over here.
Yeah, I get what you're saying with that. But I just feel like he's playing his role with this, but I feel like the power shift when she comes home and stuff and all of that, how that changes, I feel like that's the area they should be working on. And he has to also acknowledge what he's not doing in the relationship as well.
But he's already acknowledged that he feels like there isn't anything that he's not doing. He literally blames Jax for everything up until the break baby came out.
I don't know, because I feel like at the
Suburbia talking about Lewis is trash.
I see Suburbia.
I feel like there was a point when Lewis actually does start to take more accountability. I feel like once they're in, and I feel like that's what therapy is for. Therapy is not for us to keep rehashing the past. I feel like after season 1, when we went into season 2 and we see them in therapy, I see Lewis as I don't see him bringing up the past. But you have every point. All of the points are actually on point because I did feel that way about Lewis from season 1. Season 1, Lewis was not being fair to Jax at all. But season 2, Lewis, I see him trying and I see him doing better. There are way worse men out there than a Lewis when it all comes down to it. Like,
I hate that particular point,
I
EJ.
know you was gonna say that, but at the end of the day, there really is. And we're talking about two people in a marriage. You just don't take your marriage and throw it away because of things. If
you're looking for the perfect man, Erica,
nobody's gonna man's not gonna be perfect, and a woman not
oh
gonna
my
be
gosh.
You ain't gonna find the person
I'm
perfect.
not looking for the
flaws.
I am not looking for the perfect person. I'm looking for the person that is more equally yoked with the person that she is. And if it's a person in a relationship with you that is requiring you to come in and be less of yourself, then I'm sorry, marriage or not, that is not the right decision. And unfortunately, a lot of us are in relationships or stay in relationships because we might have loved or thought we loved somebody, but learn what love is once you live a little bit more. We might have had an idea and saw the potential. Okay, cool. But for me, again, not wanting anybody perfect, I am not staying in anything where I have to play small. I have already unlearned and reparented myself out of that particular habit as it pertains to society. I don't allow it to happen with my parents anymore. I don't allow it to happen with my family. I'm damn sure not going to allow it to happen to the man who's entering inside of me. And I don't think that is too much to ask. And I think we can, and not to say that you guys are meaning to do this, but the talking points of they're a way worse man, and then everybody can't be perfect, trivializes the point that I'm making of you should still have someone who is aligned with you and able to love you in the way that you actually deserve.
But how are we saying that Lewis is not exactly loving her the way that she deserves to be loved? Because the way that I look at it, the way that I see it, is that we have two people who have both made mistakes. We have two people who both have some serious issues. We also see these two people literally try to outdo the other when it comes to.
Can we pause real quick? You said two people who made mistakes.
Who is this person?
I just want to pause you, EJ.
Married to Lewis, girl. Don't.
Okay.
I just want to pause you real quick. Because you're saying it's two people that made mistakes. Yes. However, to the point that you were making before the break baby came up in the therapy conversation, Lewis was actually communicating to the therapist that it was all Jax. So no, he had not this season made a change and decided that he was going to do certain bits of work. And I think that you're already shooting yourself in the foot if you're trying to save the marriage, if you can't see yourself at all until it's this big thing. Like there's, again, plenty of little things with Lewis that lend itself to grating on Jax and wearing down Jax and like really putting Jax into a box that I think needed to be addressed well before you go and have a break baby. And he couldn't see that. And now he's only in a remorseful place because he feels guilty about that. And he's still not seeing all of the other ways. For me, the throwback scene when he stopped her from working on the computer and said, "Hey, I'm working on this presentation. Can you give me your thoughts?" And then she gives him his thoughts and he resents her for it and pushes back in that way. It told me so much. And that particular element comes up a lot within their relationship. And it's nothing to sneeze or to laugh off. No woman should be subjected to that. Not only do you want me to be small in general, but you literally stop me from doing the work that I'm doing so that you can hear my thoughts, and then you still diminish my thoughts. So then why the hell did you even ask?
Okay, so you think that she should be with Corey Chestnuts?
Okay, so I think that is a lot more than what people
lit up.
Because Morris is going Morris, right? Like Morris is going Morris. And I want to be clear, like when people watch my channel, you will see that Erica also has her things. Michael Ealy be doing it for me. And I, overlook a lot of things. So I want to be clear. Erica also doesn't see herself as perfect or her criticism is perfect. I just stand on what I believe. I think that I enjoy watching Jax be herself fully around Morris, and they eat me up on my channel a lot about this because aside from Damon kidnapping her, I really enjoyed the energy that Damon brought to her as well. Because in a space in a marriage, besides that, in the space of a marriage where she is. In the space of a marriage, when she's put into a box, the Damon arc is the first time we actually get to see her romantically linked to a man who is not trying to clip her wings, who is not requiring her to be anything less of herself. And I feel like the same thing is starting to come out with Corey Cash. So I'm not necessarily saying she has to like dump Lewis immediately and get with him, but I would love for her to lean more into a man like him, because the first thing is he's not requiring her to be less of herself, to be in the same room or to entertain anything with him.
But I still don't feel like Lewis is making her be less of herself either. I feel like
that's a choice. But they have
a family together. They have a family. They have a life together. And at some point, she is a very ambitious person. And of course, we know that she comes across very strong, and her light is really big. And it's a lot of women like that where their light is really big. Lewis very passive. He is that. He is very passive, We saw that when he kind of let Tony run all over him. And so, of course, Jax is going to have to step in. But sometimes people are yin and yang. Not everybody is this big, bright light like Jax is. But also, Lewis is, we not going to act like Lewis is just straight up trash either, because Lewis is not that either. Yes, Lewis made some mistakes. That is very apparent. And yes, season 1 Lewis was really not, I mean, he was doing the most with that whole job thing and giving her the ultimatum, but Jax is just not perfect. And that's where we go like this, because if
but
Jax
you're saying she's not perfect as if I'm saying she is perfect. I never said that.
No. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that Jax also, there's things that Lewis had to conform to too. There are things that Lewis had to forgive too in order to, make this marriage work. We're acting like Lewis didn't.
What did Lewis have to conform to?
Well, first of all, he had to get over the fact that his wife was in a whole relationship, or let me call it a situationship with somebody who, she publicly embarrassed him in a way, because everybody knows about the relationship, about this whole situation with Damon. And then she almost cheated again. Jax makes some serious
almost cheated again is crazy, because she didn't cheat the first time. And I don't think that we're catching the language that we're using as it pertains to Jax.
Okay, they was on a break. Okay, if you go being technical with words, they were on a break, so nobody.
I mean, I'm not faulting him for sleeping with Tony. I'm faulting him for not using a condom. I have never once said that he cheated on her. So to say that Jax cheated on him, to me, seems like a double standard.
I said a situationship. I mean, they're still married. They're still
married. Around with Tony, and he said that
they were also married, and she had just had a daughter when. They were also still married, and she had just had a daughter when he was taking her down to a sex club because she wasn't sexually aroused enough for him.
Come on, Erica. She could have said no. That's how strong.
EJ, you're moving the goalpost, babe. You're moving the goalpost because you're trying to fault Jax for sleeping with somebody because she's married, but her husband actually introduced her to engaging sexually with other people because he likes to watch.
But that's probably
neither one of them cheated. They were on a break.
I am not debating whether she wanted to do it or not. I am debating you faulting her for doing it while they're on a break when he introduced it to her, period.
Well, I'm not really faulting her. I'm saying what I'm not faulting her, though. This is the point. I'm not faulting her. What I'm saying is that Lewis also had to forgive. Like, he also had to move past this. He could have literally just been like, you know what?
But he hasn't moved past it, because he took in episode 3 or 4, he threw that back up in her face in therapy because he's had to do so much.
He got frustrated. That's why.
Well, they both were throwing things.
I'm very much so aware that we live in a patriarchy that are designed to make men feel comfortable, and I don't think calling Lewis to the carpet and actually being accountable to change and not just forgive. I don't feel like you said that there's things that he has to forgive. Cool. I'm not saying that he's not. I don't think that he has had to conform. I don't think that he's had to question himself at his core. He doesn't even check his brother, and his brother delivers some nastiness to Jax of, you actually hurt Lewis, as if Lewis has never done anything, because I think that we are normalized to downplay the emotional and mental stress. I'm not going to say it's abuse, but I'll say the stress that is given to women who are forced to play small and to fit in a box and to be this thing that she's supposed to be. I don't think that I don't think that Jax gets the same grace that Lewis is getting as a man, because she's supposed to be the wife and she's supposed to do this. So if he has a problem with you working, if he has a problem with this, then girl, you better keep your man happy. But he doesn't have to figure out his insecurities on his own and allow her to be this big light and stop being jealous and resentful of those things. He doesn't have to now tell himself to put on his big boy pants and my wife is a boss and like, let me step up to meet her. Like, even the dialogue of, I'm sorry, you can't brag on me the way that I brag on you. That's not because of her. That's because you have settled and you do the very bare minimum. That's a choice, babes.
I don't know. I don't necessarily see it like that. And
I think they both make choice. I mean, I think they both making a choice at the end of the day. Yeah, it's like for every couple is going to be different. I'm definitely a person that believes that it's okay to say goodbye if it's time to say goodbye. Like people can grow up together and out and apart. My grandmother used to always say that. And, you know, they're here for a reason, a lesson, a blessing, a season. I believe in all of those things. So it's really like for them to weigh the options. I was talking about that last week. Like, does the good outweigh the bad? I do feel like she rushed with saying I'm okay with it because I just feel like you're okay with it now, but something else could come up that could end up triggering you where you may not be okay with it. I didn't like how his brother came at her. I didn't think that was his place. I get that Lewis confided in him and she confides in her friends. You always got that person you vent to, but then that's the bad side sometimes too when you bring people into your relationship and vent to them because now he felt like it was his place and it was okay for him to come and say something to her. And I really felt like it wasn't. If you want to talk to somebody, talk to your brother. Now, I appreciated that he was like, my brother is dead wrong for what he did. But then to turn around, yeah, he did say that. I appreciated that part. But I was just like, this is not for you to get involved in, sir.
Stay out of
he needs to mind his business. He definitely needs to mind his business. I ain't mad at him though.
So Lewis has so many opportunities to actually show change and to actually step up and to walk into being this powerful man, this great husband that everybody wants to act like he is. You can't even check your brother. You coming to stay with me. We're going through this. Jax decided to actually forgive me. It's no way in hell my brother is coming at my husband who is now going to help me raise my break baby sideways. But that's just me.
Wait a minute, he wasn't there when the brother said
let me finish. Let me land the plane. Let me land the plane real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Erica is a alpha woman. Erica is a very outspoken woman. Erica is a very passionate woman. Erica considers herself to be a leader. So the people who are in my periphery, who are in my actual vicinity, know certain things. And if I do confide in my sister or my best friend about X, Y, and Z, they already know how I'm coming. So no, he wasn't there to hear the brother say that, but the brother shouldn't even have felt that comfortable because I should have been having also conversations if I am a man of like integrity, if I am a man who's a leader in my relationship and all of these things that people want Lewis to be, I'm also going to deliver that as well. Because heavy is the head that wears the crown, and you cannot be the leader while also skirting accountability. And that's whether you having personal conversations with the people that's in your corner or you're dealing with your actual partner.
But last season,
but I do feel like he knew already that his brother was going to be coming with something because when they was in the therapy session, he was like, "Oh, my brother coming in town, and I'm gonna see how that goes." And
he didn't prep him.
What does that mean? Like, what did you tell him? So
you could have had him off at the pass. Yo, you coming to stay with us? This is our house. Do not make Jax feel uncomfortable because I'm trying to figure this out. And I'm not even saying that he has to be perfect in knowing what to do and how to make it better because it's hard. This is a very tough situation. But being a passive person while also being the aggressor in by way of the lies that set up where we're at now, because the actual sex is not the problem. It's the betrayal of the lies when you didn't actually need to do it. And now what's coming. He is not actively trying to curtail Jax getting hit with any of the things that also come with it. And now she just got to eat it. And everybody's fine with her eating it because she's strong, because she's powerful, because she wins this, because she looked great in the suit, because that pixie look flies, because she slept with the security guard, because she had a relationship with Damon. But no, all of those things are inconsequential to where we're at now. And if y'all want to stand on Lewis being a great man or Lewis being a leader within their family, he has to step up and lead. And he's not.
I don't know. I still listen. I agree to disagree on
What's
it.
Moochie's feel? I ain't heard Moochie say.
But at the end of the day, I do feel like the fact
that he couldn't check his brother, DJ.
No. I mean, if he knew about it, yeah, but I don't know if he knew about it. Because what I remember, I don't remember him.
DJ, you ain't never had a friend. You ain't never been in a relationship, right? Because I tell people on my channel all the time, I lean back into my most toxic days. I was talking about specifically as it pertains to this show. One of my great loves or whatever, when I was in my 20s, we had each other saved in our phones as Jody and Yvette. Like, I understand what this actually looks like in not being equally yoked. So it's one thing, but I remember specifically within certain circumstances in that relationship and going to my homegirls and telling every damn thing, and they want to get with him, but they're not going to do certain things because at this point I'm trying to make sure our relationship is good. I don't need you kicking up dust. That's the bare minimum that he could do. So you can't stand up to your brother.
Erica, come with, just hit me with that one. What about Sally?
What about Sally?
Sally came in with the same energy after Jax told her about the situation. When she came back to the house, she came in there with the same energy. We can say that about Jax.
I don't like Sally.
I love that.
I don't like that.
I'm gonna throw her in the spot behind me. I can't stand Sally.
That's a great point, but Sally has also proven herself to be an unreliable narrator and not put up to go to Lewis by Jax. The difference is Lewis basically allowed his brother to be basically put up to go up against Jax. Jax didn't send Sally. Sally has been erratic for everybody. She's erratic on the stand. She's erratic about this. She didn't put her house up for mortgage and her husband told her not to. So that's the difference there. I love that comparison and I love this conversation because we're able to like really get down to the nitty gritty.
Let me hear what Moochie got to say. Moochie.
Okay, so since you mentioned Sally, we already know. It's obvious now that Sally is the one that did JT. It's obvious.
I don't know.
All right, she's already saying, let's tell the truth. That's the last thing she
like
said in the
making
episode.
it too obvious and it's gonna be a twist.
Yeah,
but I definitely got. Listen,
I've been saying it's Sally from day one. I think it's Sally.
But I feel like somebody else is involved too because it's gonna be too simple and too direct.
It's too simple for it to be
showing us that it's Sally.
It's too simple.
It could be somebody else, but I'm
It's
staying
either
with
between
Sally
or
Wait,
the daughter.
I need to go to y'all's other channels because I don't see any of the other comments. Hold on, because y'all said people were responding. I don't see.
Yeah. I did want to.
It's in the comments on StreamYard.
Where? Oh, I don't know how to work this. See?
Oh, yeah, it's coming
I just
up
had it on private chat. I didn't even see it. I'm sorry, y'all.
It's okay. Look, now you know.
I did want to touch on some other things real quick, y'all, because we've been talking about that part for a minute.
Ooh.
Why do y'all think that this DA, like every witness that gets on the stand, just with this case in general, with us knowing what she going through with her husband now, what is her problem? Like, what? I mean, she's doing her job, but at the same time, sometimes I feel personal. Like, she don't believe every time an expert gets on the stand and tells her things. She like, oh, you already know that based off of that and based off of her talking to her one time and how you remember. Like, it's always an attitude. Is it about the money? Because you would think she would have some type of empathy, being as though she going through the situation she going through.
I think yeah. And watch, I think she's gonna be the next case that Jack's.
Oh yeah, I was good.
I think next season it's gonna be her.
Well, we talked about that the first, like after episode 4, that it's gonna either piggyback into that. Like,
yeah,
I don't like Lucy either.
I don't know.
I call her tight face, but I also thought it was funny that you know, Jax peeped it. Like, she saw her and her husband and them at the car and all of that. So I felt like, yeah, that was a little foreshadowing. And of course, we already touched on the therapist. I want to see what else was in here.
So I'm assuming Erica don't like the therapist then. Too,
when they came here to her house and she opened that door and she thought he was there by himself, but then she saw Jax.
Look, she don't like the therapist. I could tell.
I can tell she don't like that therapist. I like the therapist.
She right. She don't like the therapist to rip down.
I actually like the therapist, and I like the fact that they showed them going to couples therapy and her doing individual therapy. Y'all know I love therapy, child. I've been in therapy for years. I tell everybody go to therapy. And I like that because, you know, some shows, they show them in therapy one time and then all of a sudden they're fixed. I like that we actually see multiple sessions going on. I think that's a plus. But Erica...
No, I don't have a problem with the therapist. There's certain parts where I'm like, oh, I wish he would have pushed a little bit harder. But then there's also certain parts where I'm like, yes, exactly. I'm glad that even in the baby gate, he didn't let Lewis off the hook. I don't know what to call it. He didn't let Lewis off the hook, and he reassured Jax. The only thing I really struggle with the therapist is like the pointing out that Jax didn't doesn't experience unconditional love, and then now she's so eagerly looking for it that she's laying it at Lewis's door, but he does not actually love her unconditionally. And I think that that's going to wind up being a misstep, unfortunately, because she desperately wants to kind of fill that hole quickly.
Wait a minute, she told Lewis
maybe he does love her unconditionally, but he don't know how to show her
you
that.
love me unconditionally. Now I have to help.
People say lies all the time, Inga. I mean, I'm sorry, real quick before you go in. I'm sorry, Dominique. I didn't see any of these comments. I'm sorry, Dominique and Tamika. I'm sorry if Dominique is like one of your people.
No, Dominique said that.
Dominique
said that Lewis, that her and Jack share Lewis, child. Okay, she loves.
You got it, boo. You got. Listen. Somebody got to take the Lewises of the world so that the Jacksons can be real Jacksons. So hey, go for it, honey. But I'm sorry.
Dominique
Go ahead. What were we saying?
Super chat, y'all.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna get to super chats in a minute. I don't want y'all to think we forgot about it, but I just was getting deep into this conversation. It was something else I want to talk about.
Let's go back to Tony and stand at the door.
Oh,
what y'all think about that? Tony, I want to punch her in the face. I don't care if she's pregnant or not. I don't like this lady.
I want Aries on this one. She can stand all day on
her or the baby. Okay,
that's not nice.
I'm sorry, I was just channeling her energy.
She is.
Honey has got to go. Honey,
I don't care about Tony at all.
She acting real thing. And she seemed like she's gonna be a problem. And this
we've been said that though
between Jax and Lewis because of this. And it might end their marriage, but I feel like because you have children and divorce really messes kids up, and if they're going for therapy, I feel like you should try. I
don't see nothing wrong with them trying, but at the same time, just me personally, and this is probably coming from my experiences, okay, I don't like people staying together that's like we staying together for the kids. Mm-hmm. Because kids is not dumb. Just like his kids been saying, we know you was here. You know, oh, did y'all make up now? Because I didn't fall for he's working late. And like, they not dumb. They know what's going on. And a lot of times you end up doing more damage to them, especially, you know, when these real toxic, crazy situations happening and you staying together for the sake of them. You know, I think I was mentioning this before to y'all, like when my oldest niece and my brother, he was determined that he was going to stay there. So she was leaving to go to college, and she would be begging him like, Dad, it's okay, you can go. These kids is not dumb. I feel like you can still be parents to your kids. Yes, it's harder. Yes, they struggle. It definitely has an effect on them, you know, with them getting a divorce, with them separating, with them getting back together. All those things have an effect. But I think sometimes you do more damage when you say you just there for that. Like if it's not nothing else that y'all can have a common ground on that y'all really want to work for outside of that, I don't think is a good thing to do.
The T is that you both have to try.
Yeah.
And Lewis is not trying. Lewis is wallowing. Lewis is feeling guilty. Lewis is allowing himself to pass the buck unintentionally and allowing Jax to lead like, all over again. Like, that's the thing that I think people get mixed up because I have such passionate disdain for Lewis as a character. It is literally because he's not doing enough. If he was decide to do enough or do more or do something, then I could get on board with like, okay, let's see where this goes. But you're not. So if you want to try to make it work in your relationship, you can't leave the try part out.
But I don't think we also throw relationships away either. Just like where we are right now with Jackson Lewis, this is not a throw the relationship away type of thing. This is not a let me go jump in Corey Chestnut's arms and do whatever just because I'm feeling a certain type of way. Like I don't, no, absolutely. We're all going from our own perspectives, but I don't feel like that they're at that point yet. Like I don't feel like that this is a toxic. I don't feel like this is toxicity at the point of we gotta separate. I don't feel like we're there yet.
Issues with them. A lot of times it's communication issues with the two of them
like
on both sides.
Communication.
It's not just about the issues though. It is. It's not just about the issue itself. It's about the toll that it takes. And I think that we're playing down the wearing that happens. Like the one thing that we didn't speak to, and I didn't want to open up this other can of worms, but hell, we here now. We want to look at Jax and say, oh, you had an affair, or
me as a throwaway.
You want to say that you got into a whole relationship, but you were married. Are we going to speak to the fact that she was only able to get into that place because of the mental position that Lewis had put her in? Because of the toll of that particular relationship? We're not going to speak to that, but we can speak to, oh, you did this thing over here. Like that is a manifestation of years and years and years of the same things that we're seeing happen right now. So to downplay it and say that it's not that big of a deal when it literally becomes the thing that wears you down so much that makes you weaker in various areas and it makes you susceptible to other things, then you're basically dismissing all of that.
I don't think so personally. I mean, honestly, like I said, I have some issues with past Lewis, but I also have a lot of issues with Jax too. I just have issues with both of them, and I can just see it from both sides. And I feel like if we both have issues, if we both have faults that we have brought into this relationship, and we're making honest efforts to actually move forward and try, which I do feel like Lewis is doing, but I understand you don't feel like he's doing. But in my eyes, I feel like he is making necessary steps to do better and be better. So that's why I just don't see us there. And yes, maybe the whole thing with Lewis trying to give her the ultimatum, maybe that is something that pushed her into Damon's arms, but also not going to give Jax an excuse.
Not just that. I'm saying the whole thing, the relationship.
Well,
the whole relationship.
I'm not going to give her these passes either or allow it to be an excuse, because at the end of the day, they're all choices. They're choices on Lewis's part and they're choices on Jackson's part. They both have issues. I just see both of them with issues. And I feel like this is something that if we just put in a little more work and a little more communication on both ends of it, that this is still a relationship that is workable. I just don't think it's a throwaway relationship. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that Lewis is perfect.
Shout out to T. Davis. Shout out to
Um,
T. Davis, because I don't think that he would be accepting if she got pregnant either. But that's a whole other conversation about the double standard playing out in their relationship.
But we don't know that. It's the whole
EJ,
thing.
because EJ is saying we both need to do more work, but we ain't even getting him do the equal amount of work that Jax is doing. So like the fact that Jax even needs to do more is like, damn, how much more does she need to do? Jax didn't talk, Jax, and now she does talk. Jax needs to get over the break baby and accept it and move forward and co-parents and just be okay with it. So she's doing that. So then at what point do Lewis actually start doing something?
But she didn't have to do that is the whole point. Like it's not necessary for her to do that, but it also wasn't.
She don't, but you're saying that the only way the marriage works is if they both do stuff, but then they both need to do more. Meanwhile, you're not actually saying, when I say, okay, so when does Lewis start doing his part? You say, well, she didn't have to do the things that she did. I'm still asking, when does he actually start doing the things that force him to address some of his shortcomings as well? I pointed to specifically one of Jackson's shortcomings is not talking about her feelings and not being open, like not being vocal. And we're seeing her in this season literally like come to him. I'm not okay with this. I don't like this. Like doing all of the things, the homework, all of the things that make her uncomfortable. What is that's happening on Lewis's end? He is not doing certain things. So you can't call for work, or you can do whatever you want. But I'm not going to call for her to do even more labor when he has yet to even meet the labor that she's doing.
What I'm trying to see, what is she doing? I'm listening.
Like she don't like.
I just gave examples, but I guess
what she's doing is so much more than what Lewis is doing. What she doing is so much examples.
More. So I don't necessarily.
She gave the example. What she said was she's already trying to improve herself of her shortcomings, and she feels like Lewis has not been pulling his weight with trying to change with going to therapy. That's basically what I got of the gist. Am I right or wrong, Erica?
Okay. So him going to therapy hasn't been changing him at all, is what she's saying.
I did not say okay.
Not all
right, so this is where
he's not
this
doing
is where
enough.
I'm like, it is what it is.
Mediocre, right?
Yes, but I speak to very specific examples, and I ask for y'all to give me an example that you would feel like is substantial to that, and I'm not getting that. So now I'm at the place of like, I can't really say anything else because the receipts that I give are very specific.
No, I got the receipts that you gave, but to me, is it because he's how can I say it? You feel like he's
I don't think Corey is a better choice, though. I do not think that.
Yeah, he don't even want to commit.
Well, I don't agree with that. I don't necessarily know if we know that. One, he won't commit to the woman that he throws out of his apartment because Jax calls, but we don't know that he won't commit to Jax. So that's one. Two, my thing with Corey isn't necessarily an infatuation that everybody else has with him. I like who she's able to be, which is 100% herself with him.
So you feel like that's
ultimately what I want. That's what it could be. I don't know for sure, but I like that better. And I am always advocating for women to be able to be in safe spaces that allow them to fully be themselves. That's who you should be with. You should not be with someone that forces you to compromise anything of your core being. And unfortunately, Lewis has and continues to ask her to compromise her core being. And you're about to say, isn't marriage about compromise? It's about compromise on who likes what side of the bed, the thermostat and all of that. It's not about compromising who you are. Because if you have to compromise who you are you really with who you should be with?
But how much of it is she really compromising is where I was going to go next with it, is that like we're saying that she's having to do this, that, and the third in order to be in this space or whatnot, or in order to be in Lewis's world. I guess that's where we're going with it, just to be in his world. But I don't necessarily see it like that. I do see that Lewis, like I said,
can I answer the question? Can I answer the question that you said that you were posing? Lewis didn't even know about the molestation or the like sexual issues with the stepdaddy, right? So Jax has been living her entire life with the trauma around being inappropriately interacted with by this man in her life, which has also informed how she navigates men. And the fact that she shuts down, she's not as communicative, she is as headstrong, she's in a survival place. And Lewis has oftentimes faulted her for that without gaining certain understanding or even seeking to understand why she is the way that she is. He might have that understanding now, but again, early on in the season, he was telling the therapist that he's still doing all the work. I don't think that the audience is giving Jax enough credit to what it is for her to now be like, I am uncomfortable, I don't trust this, let me tell you that. Because that's not in her normal wheelhouse. And that's only happening because that was something stipulated in therapy of like, you have to get better in this area. Your marriage is suffering because of this. And she's now doing it. I'm asking, what is the thing that Lewis now has to unpack, has to deal with, has to work through, that he's actually doing to bring betterness to their marriage? Because I don't see him actually doing that thing. And I do see Jax doing that thing. And that's just one of them.
But what were Lewis's actual, I guess that's what I'm trying to figure out. What was Lewis's actual issues that we've seen in the show that we have had to, where he had to go and make these major changes? Because for me, the problem initially started with Jax working too much, right? Jax was working too much.
Where did that come from, EJ?
When it first started, they was already separated from season 1.
But where does that come
know
from?
Why they broke up in the first place?
We just knew they were separated, and he gave her an ultimatum.
But he did that specifically because of her working too much and seemingly loving her job too much. For me, that communicated, and then the things after communicated, that Lewis is insecure in this relationship. He's insecure standing next to Jax, operating how she is. So one of the things that Lewis could be processing and could be dealing with to become a better man within his relationship is being able to unpack, unlearn the things that create the triggers for his insecurities and his ego to hype up on his own, and not putting it back on Jax to have to affirm him almost out of his insecurities. That's now his work. The same way that her shutting down and her not being open and not being communicative is her work. His work is to deal with that. And for me, you shouldn't be a man that actually wants a vocal, domineering, bright light woman, but only when it makes you feel good. And you made this point earlier, and I want to just really quick go back to it. You were saying yin and yang. I don't believe that to say the opposite of loud is quiet in a way of he has to be passive. Lewis can still be a leader and can still be very steadfast, very confident, and be a quiet man. I'm not saying that Jax needs a man that's exactly like her, but she does need a man that's going to create a safe space for her to be herself.
So I get that point, but why do you feel like he's not creating this safe space? Like
because he's not dealing with his stuff. And I gave you the example of, you said, what's the thing that he should be working on? his insecurity is number one. It pushes him to do so many things, but he pushes that responsibility off on Jax. Even with the apologies, we got it in so many words of her saying, like, you can't keep apologizing to me because it doesn't make me feel good. It just makes you feel good. That's him again asking for her to do emotional and mental labor of reassuring him and helping him process his insecurities around this terrible decision when that is for you to deal with. To me, what it looks like, if you really want your marriage and you really want to fight for it, it's not just laying great dick. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna be honest. It is now addressing, like, what can I do? What does she need? What can I anticipate to help lessen the blow? And we're not seeing it.
But do you even think we've had enough time to like really see like every single thing that you're saying?
If we have enough time for Jax to flip the switch and no longer be affected by it magically, but then still be affected by it, then we have enough time for Lewis to flip the switch and at least pretend. He could still be struggling with actually being insecure, but he can even make the effort and try to pretend. She is. Why does she get to pretend, but he don't have to pretend?
Let me hear Moochie. Go ahead.
So we got 2 more episodes left, right? It's 9 episodes.
10.
Okay. 10. So it's 2 more left because we on 8 now. If do you think we're gonna see that change with Lewis? Do you think they're just writing this where she looks like she's just gonna be all right with conforming to everything that has happened in their marriage, and she's just gonna basically be on board with this whole thing? She's already on board with the co-parenting with this broad. So or do you think she's gonna get to the point where she can't take it anymore because this girl is gonna be unreasonable?
Well, I went real fast before Erica say something. Did y'all notice she looked like she was having some type of pains, contractions, or something was going on? I wonder if
that when Jax and her talked. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. I wonder if something gonna happen with the baby.
Well, I hope so, because she make me
Lord.
I mean, me too. I ain't trying to look. I ain't talking about real life people. These are characters. I could.
We not talking about real life, but I'm just saying
this. But this is I don't care nothing about the baby. I hope she lose the baby.
She can fall down upstairs.
If it's a real life person that I know, I ain't gonna say that. But these characters, I don't care. I can say it.
Oh Lord.
I don't believe that Lewis is going to change, and I do believe that the cost of that on Jax, if she decides to stay through the end of the season, is going to be additional setup for her internal conflict that they will use in season 3.
I can see that, but I also feel like they
might have a divorce. They might end up getting divorced by season 3.
I see, and this is the crazy thing, because I'm a writer, director, producer myself. Like, I have my thoughts around this and how it pertains to real life, and that's what I speak to. Story wise, it keeps it going with if they don't. But I would love for her to, but I could understand why they won't, because it will help keep the conflict going for the Jax character internally, and then once you throw external forces, then you now have a great soup for really great drama. Honestly, I appreciate being able to even be presented with the characters in the way that they are, so that these type of conversations can be had.
Yeah, they always gonna go for the drama, but I do feel like they've been making subtle changes with Lewis. His is going slower. And the fact that when the therapist spoke to him and he went there and was laying on that couch that night looking at that phone and was like, okay, yeah, this is not what I want. And he went there and said all that stuff to him. I really do feel like he believes that, but also the same way the therapist was saying to Jax, you don't know what that looks like because you've never seen it or had it. I don't think he's ever seen it or had it either. So therefore he don't know how to come across and do it sometime. I do feel like he gotta how they say, stand on business, stand your ground, like mean what you say and say what you mean. I do like this episode. I felt like he was a little flaky and shaky and a little rocky with certain things, and I definitely was seeing what you were saying with the pastor thing, but it still didn't make me feel like he was weak. It just made me feel like that's a part of his personality. But if you want to see things change, then sometimes you gotta change, because that used to be my personality too, but that ain't my personality anymore. You see what I'm saying? So I kind of see it like both sides. This part did make me laugh when this girl was walking past looking at them all crazy. It was something else that, oh yeah, and of course
It's
that's when
definitely
he
gonna be
went
something with
there
that
and
Lucy
she,
lady. It's gonna be
yeah.
something. And how you expect to, in all of that, she was just being ridiculous. Oh, you need to be here damn near 24/7. Would you want the man to move in to your house? Why
Yeah, that ain't
you come
happening.
on there? Yeah,
Definitely
she's
trouble.
being ridiculous.
That
And why couldn't Lewis
definitely
say that?
I don't care what she
exactly.
sound like.
Why
I
did
didn't
why did
understand
why
why
did
he
Lewis
couldn't
even
say
go and
nothing.
tell Jax that? Like
I
it's
think
so
that
many of
was
the
just
big
him
things
being
and the
damn
little
drunk.
things. It's the
Wait a
big
minute, wait a
things
minute.
and
So
the
you
little
saying
things.
you
You're
don't
not
think he
sparing
should have
her.
told Jax? You don't think he should have told Jax?
No, I think he should have dealt with it, and he needs to try his best to spare her from getting all of these blows.
I feel like Lewis should have checked her right from the door with that.
Yeah.
I agree.
Right from the door
Yeah,
with that.
now I didn't like he didn't
And
say anything.
he
I didn't
wasn't
like
there
that.
trying to pass us, but he's trying to be easy because he want to see the kid. And I got why he was carrying
His
on
wife
that.
is an attorney, a badass
Yeah,
one
but
at that. He gonna see
you-
that
you-
kid.
Yeah.
He's going to see that kid.
I know what you're saying, and she already went through that, but he's trying to do things in a civil
I
manner
just
where it
think
don't
that
gotta
he's
go
that
there.
type of person that he doesn't until he blows. He doesn't like
he don't want how he did with no
Yeah,
conflict.
he seemed like
conflict.
But
Because that's how my
Tamika,
brother
that's what I'm
is too.
saying.
My
though.
younger brother got that same type of personality. He don't like no conflict, so
So
everything.
so then you can't be with a person who
Exactly.
also
That's what we was
needs
talking
to.
about last week too.
You need to be with a person who that's okay for them. Jax is a person who is not afraid of conflict, but also needs rest because she always has to have it. So if you're not going to be her partner and then step in and try to like block some of the blows of the conflict, then what the hell are you doing? And that's honestly what it comes down to me. Like, what is Lewis actually doing to
But the
actually
thing
help
about
Jax?
it is they both know this about each other and they still fell in love, got married, had 2 kids. I'm just saying. So they both, that was my whole
People
thing with
fall
them.
in love every day,
Yeah.
B. People
Yeah,
fall
they
in love
do,
in
and
their
they can
20s
fall
every
out
day.
too.
And they divorce by
Exactly.
30. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like things are
It's
and
true.
also
So
B, black women have been taught like the whole he's a good man Savannah is a funny joke and a kiki online, but there are so many things that we have been conditioned to accept. And I understand that a lot of the things that I'm saying right now are very radical. So I get thrown into the camp of like, oh, she wants this man to be perfect. He don't have to be perfect, but he need to be aligned with me. And there's certain things that because of my lived experience, because of my trauma, because of what my current life looks like, I need support in these certain areas. A man who can't do those things, we're not equally yoked, no matter how fine you are, no matter how much sexual chemistry we have, no matter how much our days look alike. Like, let's be real.
I understand what you're saying. It don't sound radical to me, but I just feel like that's gonna look different for each person. So in Jack's case, for whatever reason, she's feeling like this is who I still want to make it work with. And I don't think it's impossible for them to make it work. But I also feel like it's not going to be easy. It wouldn't be overnight. It wouldn't just be, oh, okay, yeah, it's just we on and popping and we just moving forward, because then you are going to have things that's going to come back and be like, boom, where now you getting in the front and you got to sit here and battle it out with Tony. And I don't really feel like, I mean, she can do it. We know that because we know she is a good lawyer and that won't be a problem for her. But I do agree that he should have been the one to set Tony straight, and I feel like he should have been the one to set the brother straight. Those 2 things I definitely left this episode feeling.
I agree.
Yeah, the brother
that.
was out of line. The brother
Yeah.
need to mind his business.
The
for real.
brother
He
needs to
shouldn't-
mind his business all
yeah,
the way.
he shouldn't have even have said anything, even if he know everything, even if what if Erica tell me all her secrets of business or whatever, and then I'm supposed to go and then confront it's not for me to say anything. He should have just been keeping that to himself. You know what I'm saying? Even if he feel a way, he still keep it to himself. He shouldn't have addressed Jax. That I
do agree that Lewis should have been the one to say something to Tony. But I mean, like I guess since we, because this is TV, but TV does have a borderline of a lot of real life experiences that you can cross over with it. But my husband and I, we are polar opposites in the sense of he is the one who always gonna say something. I am very, very, you have to take me to a certain level in order to get me to be, otherwise I am very passive. I am very not going to be all up in your face. I'm going to be the person that stays calm. Where my husband, on the other hand, he is totally different. We are so different from each other when it comes to that. He's gonna be the person that's gonna go all the way in. So that's why I say sometimes some of these things can balance each other out. But at the same time, I feel like I have a more strong personality when it comes to certain things. He just has the aggressive, like the super aggressive one.
And I think that's the point, EJ. I love the example that you're providing from your real life experience. I don't know you on a personal level, but I would argue, like, from what you're saying, like, let's say, you know, your husband is the more vocal person and might be more easily able to engage in conflict, but when it comes down to it and something goes down, while you might not be the loud vocal person in that way, I don't doubt that you would find the nice way to, like, hey, this is not going to work because this is actually compromising him. Like, if your husband was really in a place of like it hurting him or something actually happening, just because you're quiet doesn't mean that you're going to allow that harm to come to your person. And to take it away from you and to provide the example, it's like, if let's say I'm allergic to nuts and we're out to eat and my husband knows that I have a nut allergy, right? And I'm the big vocal one, but for whatever reason I didn't actually catch this. I don't think that it's a very big difference in my husband being a quiet one to say, oh wait, can you double check this and make sure that there was no nuts involved in cooking it, versus my husband and I eating and my throat starts to itch and then he says, well, you know, they didn't cook it with nuts because they said they didn't cook it with nuts. Like, it probably is you're probably overreacting. I think that those two things are very different. And Lewis has the energy of, like, not protecting Jax in a way that will put certain things back on her, versus using however he decides to communicate and still creating the safety, the protection that needs to be created. That's different.
You feel like Lewis is not the protector of the family as it relates to Jax. Maybe not the kids so much. We'll take them out of the equation.
I would even say the kids, the lack of and this is a mistake. So you learn from your mistakes, but no, because I feel like that's gonna open y'all up to be like, oh no, you want him to be perfect.
He's a bad father too.
I didn't say that, and that's why I didn't want to actually start to give the example.
No,
I wasn't going to say he was a bad father.
No, you didn't say that. I'm asking, is he not there and supportive to his kids? I know you didn't say it. I'm just asking a question.
It's a but.
I'm not putting words in your mouth. I mean, it's so you probably feel like he's
asking.
It sounds like you're putting words in my mouth.
Oh no, trust me, I'm not putting words in
asking you.
Maybe I'm asking it the wrong way, but
do you feel?
I don't think that Lewis is the safe space he believes himself to be for his family.
For his entire family. That's what she's asking.
Yeah, I wasn't putting words in your mouth, but I apologize if it felt like
that's okay.
Yeah, no, it wasn't like that.
I think we have actual tangible examples of that. I think we have actual tangible examples of that. The son actually pointed out, like, yo, you made a joke about me being gay because I'm interested in X, Y, and Z. He was not safe in that space. Like,
yeah, that was wrong.
We talk about not giving Jax any kind of excuses, but meanwhile, there's so many excuses for everything that Lewis gets to do.
I don't know, because I don't feel like I'm giving Lewis any excuses. I feel like I'm pointing out that they've both done. Like, at the end of the day, I just feel like, because I give Jax grace all the time. Like, Jax is my character, you know what I mean? But I also feel like we got to give grace on both ends of it. That's it. And then Kendall does make a really good point too. I had forgot all about that, but there was that time when, you know, Corey Chestnuts with his fine self came in there giving all of the energy, and Lewis just came in there and he did take control. There was that moment. I forgot about that moment.
Yeah, he stepped on. Yeah.
But it's really a selfish person, a person who's centered on self can more easily identify the harm coming from outside, because Jax is an extension of him. So yes, he was protecting her, but he also was like, this is my house, this is my wife, that was some man type stuff. My thing is, if you're actually a safe space, then you're also thinking about how you are navigating and interacting with these people. And you don't want to check yourself, but you want to check this man. Okay, cool. But that doesn't make you a safe space.
I don't know. I guess I don't know what a safe space it then is, boo. I guess that's what.
Go ahead, Moochie. I see Moochie waving her hand.
Hit the like, y'all. Hit the like, Moochie. What
Yeah,
you
hit
want
the
to
like,
say?
guys.
I
That's
don't
a
agree
great
with this,
conversation. I'm
Suburbia.
enjoying.
This is so interesting that you feel like he don't have no masculine energy because Suburbia usually be on some other stuff. But I'm just seeing your comments.
Suburbia is on Erica's side. And that's strange with Suburbia because he's usually
very interesting.
The crazy thing is,
he's usually the
I am low key on our side as women. Like, it's so interesting to me how I immediately get yoked into the like
EJ
the polar opposites.
So like,
it's Suburbia.
I didn't. So Erica,
I just know how to get in that ass when I need to.
All right. Okay, so you said he was a weak man, but he stepped up as a man, stood a man. So I'm trying. I'm just.
I mean, if you feel like peacocking and doing all of that is stepping up, then cool. That's what you.
What I'm asking, why do you see him as a weakling? I know you. I
didn't give you all these examples, like the lack of being able to deal with your own internal work, the insecurities that he has, the resentment and jealousy that he displays for his wife, the lack of like self-awareness and so many things.
But you just said that he stepped up to him, but you calling him a coward at this. I mean, a weakling at the same time. That's what I'm trying to. I mean, but you could be strong in areas.
I was about to say those things never exist together. Yeah. That's what you're saying?
Yeah. No, I'm not saying. I just said.
Hey, okay. I think I have a delay.
Yeah, I was saying I get what you're saying now that I'm talking. Yeah, you could be strong and weak in some areas. So all right.
And it's just unfortunate that the areas that he's weak in, no. And it sucks that the areas that he's weak in exasperate and trigger.
He said that real fast.
I'm just saying, the biggest issue about the whole Jackson Lewis relationship is it's not that he has weaknesses. It's that his weaknesses exasperate and trigger the things that she actually needs in the areas where she's most vulnerable.
Okay, then I just got one more question. This is my last question. I just got
EJ, I don't want to piss you off now. I feel like you mad at me, friend.
Girl, listen, this right in my alley right here.
This is a good conversation.
This is a safe space.
It's a great conversation.
Listen, look at me, Erica. Look at me. Girl, I was mad you would know it. Trust me. I'd be like, this is some bullshit. I'm done. Seriously, though. No, I got a question. I need to know how you feel about her and her thing with Corey Cash. Then, like, where we get to this point where whenever, don't do the breathing, don't do that. Where she feels a certain type of way, she goes back to this certain behavior. And I know you said that Jax is trying to work on it. She's trying to work on it, but this is just one of my points about how Jax is not always just like, I get it. Because trust me, I hear everything that you're saying. And I honestly agree with about 75% of it till we get to the part where Lewis is weak and that he's not and I know we take this, we shouldn't say this because it was not meant to be this way. It was not meant to be good. He's a good man, Savannah. It was actually meant to be a bad thing, not a good thing. But, I digress on that part. But Lewis actually, in my opinion, is really a good man that has some things that he needs to work on. I know that Lewis got some stuff he needs to work on. I just don't think that it's to the point where it's so bad. But I feel like Jax always runs back to the same thing. And we have to give her grace for that. And I did give her grace for it because she stopped. But
that's the tea. So to answer your question, she does always run back to the same behavior. And I think that there's something so powerful in the montage that we saw with her internal thoughts in that moment and like her making the choice and stopping herself and not allowing her to go to that sexual place that she typically goes to is a big feat. And I appreciate it. I dropped my head and I shook my head because I didn't appreciate in this episode her acting like nothing happened and not wanting to talk about it, because that to me would have been the true full like circle of like her making a better decision, choosing not to lean into her toxicity around this particular behavior. Her being able to talk about it with him would have solidified that for me. So I was shaking my head specifically about that. Now I want to go back to your point also of Lewis is a good man. He can be a good man, but he can also not be good enough.
Okay, I respect that. I respect that. I respect that because
I see
everything is about
some of the points
perspective.
that you making, and I agree with some of them, but I still don't look at him as
I like them
as weak, you know. But I do see where he could definitely use some more work. And I like that they show these dynamics on this show because it's real. It's like people go through stuff like this every daggone day. To be honest,
my question, EJ, is it giving her grace? Are you giving her grace for not cheating with Corey, or are you giving her credit?
No, I'm giving her both. I'm giving her credit because I was like, okay, Jax, because I was yelling at the TV at this moment. I was like, Jax, you better walk away. Don't look in his eyes.
Yeah,
Jax,
see, EJ wanted her to walk away. Me and
it's over.
I was with the don't stop, get it. Okay.
Yeah, you
Okay.
don't stop, get it. But I was like, walk away from it. But no, I am giving her grace at the same time. And I will say this because I am definitely not on the side that Lewis has no issues, because I very much saw all of Lewis's issues from season 1. I am on the side that we get to see both of them. We got to see last season where Jax really had issues and they really came out, and we really got to see all of those things. And Lewis looked like he was the person that was more of the besides the whole thing with him trying to give her the ultimatum, but overall we got to see him as more of the, I'm using this word very slightly, perfect person, because we didn't really see a lot of things that he actually did per se, right? We saw all the stuff that Jax did. And then when we moved to this season, when we moved to this season, we actually see more of some of the things that, as far as Lewis is concerned, I feel like first season we were more focused on a lot of Jax's stuff, and then this season we kind of get more focused on Lewis's stuff. So I see they both have their things. I just really feel like it can be fixed.
So, EJ, question. You said that you giving her credit for the walking away from Corey.
Both credit and grace.
Credit and grace. Okay, cool. I'm gonna focus on the credit part because I don't think that grace needs to be given because she did what she was supposed to do. But what is that moment for Lewis? What is the moment where we get to see him reject past toxic behaviors and things that he has cycled through as a result of like being triggered for certain things?
I'll say this right here. For me, I think that when Jax came to him, there was this moment, because I was holding my breath at this moment, because I was like, what the hell is Lewis finna say? When Jax goes back to Corey Chestnuts and she says, after she left Chanel, she comes back to Corey and says, I want to work on this case. Right after she had just said that she wanted to focus on her family and that she just couldn't do it because mentally she just wasn't there, right? And so she couldn't do Chanel's case, right? So that's why she gave it over to him. But then Chanel hit her with the okie doke and she like, yep, I got to be there for my girl. She comes back home and she tells Lewis what she has decided to do, even though I think internally he already knew that this was what was about to happen anyway. But I thought that Lewis would immediately, because this was the issue from before, I thought that he was not going to be with it. I thought we were about to go back into this space. But when he didn't say that, when he was more so on a let's figure this out thing, I felt like that was Lewis's moment. And that's when I really was like, oh, okay, Lewis, we gonna do a little bit better this season. That was my moment for me.
And I think that we're going to, I guess, forever just be in disagreements because your one-to-one is something that is a Jax behavior and nothing that he could actually control, when her decision was 100% in her control. If anything, the one-to-one would have been him not lying.
Yeah, I wish that he hadn't. I wish he'd been truthful.
No, and I'm not. I mean, it's not to go back to hash over like he shouldn't have lied. I'm saying Jax making a decision to walk away from Corey versus getting him on that conference table was a decision. It was a decision for her to address her toxicity, her cycles, the things that she feels safe in, and run into the comfort of this problematic behavior. Lewis, in accepting Jax taking this case, is not actually something within his wheelhouse or his control. So he's not addressing something of his problematic behavior. Aside from, I guess you're saying, like, not pushing back and not leaving again. But because he had already decided that he wanted to be in a relationship. But their issue is way more than that. So that's why I'm saying that we're just never going to agree, because he actually has opportunities to do something different than what feels comfortable and safe for him, the same way that sleeping with fine men is safe and comfortable for Jax. She chose not to do it, and he chose to keep doing it. And I'm saying that there is no actual correlation where he is forced to do something different.
I don't know. I feel like he had, like, at that moment, he could have been like, I mean, it could have been a thing though for them. I mean, if we really think
it could have been a thing, but it still wasn't his internal thing. That is still a problem that he set at her door. Like, him choosing to have a problem with it, okay, cool, but that's still not internal work that he's doing on himself.
But wasn't that their problem though? Wasn't that the main issue?
Their problem was bigger than that.
Choosing her job all the time over her family.
That's the dialogue that Lewis uses to communicate his jealousy and resentment. So yes, he said, oh, you worry too much about your job. You are too focused on your job. You love your job more. That is all stemmed from the insecurity that he finds in this relationship. So the work that he would need to do is the securing of himself. So him accepting this, he don't have no choice, because in that moment, looking in her eyes, he knows if I don't accept it, then we're done for real. So that's not him doing work.
But that's just like, he just has to accept. That's the consequences of what he feels like. I just really feel like that was him making a conscious decision to really try this time, because.
And it could be what I'm saying though, EJ, is that they're not equal.
Well,
all of her stuff.
They may not be equal in the sense of how big they are, but that was his thing. You said you asked
right,
me
but
what
when
was
you
his
okay,
thing.
so then you're saying that's his thing in reference to that trivial problem. What and I think that you're convoluting the two. His actual thing is his insecurity, his jealousy, and his resentment. That's his actual thing, and he's not actually dealing with that. So you speaking to him not going the same way that he went before in reference to like leaving the relationship because she's now back working on this case, that still doesn't touch upon this actual thing. So that's why I think that you're kind of like convoluting those two things. And what I'm saying is they're not equal, is that this is another example of the work that Jax is doing. So not only does she now communicate how she feels in the moment when she feels it and is very honest, because that's something that she requires. She's also not smashing fine ass Corey Cash on a conference room table. And that's also something that she has to deal with. My point is, you're saying him accepting her going back to the case is him trying. What I'm saying is that trying ain't enough, because she's doing more labor over here internally and he's having to do little to nothing.
But once I get where you're coming from. I get, but doesn't that just speak more of the fact that Jax just had
no, because y'all gonna try to say she had more to work on, and an insecure ass man going to go get a bad B. That is a problem. You could have left her alone. You did not have to crash into her. Stop going to go get bad bitches if you can't handle the bad bitches. Stop getting them. Stop going after the girls who have a lot. If you have a struggle standing next to a woman who have a lot and you don't want to do the work that it takes to match that. Because quiet as kept, nobody is even giving Jax credit to she didn't even require that man to step. Like, she's not even asking for him to match the things ambitiously. So not only are you insecure, but you're driving your own insecurity, and your woman is not even putting you in a position to compete with her, but you compete with her silently.
I just don't feel like Lewis is insecure. Like, you keep saying that Lewis is insecure, but
I don't see it.
Like, I do see
the
that
man lied out of his face talking about, why didn't you tell her? Why didn't you tell her? Well, I was trying to be kind. I was trying to spare her feelings. When he sit down across from Sally's husband, I just didn't even want to hear it.
Oh, you talking about when they were?
That's not. What'd you say?
Most men don't want to hear out the woman's mouth. So he knew he was going to have to hear.
You not wanting to hear the woman's mouth about some stuff that you know that you wrong on is wild work. The least you could do is hear my mouth about some stuff that you know that you're wrong on.
But that's real. That is real.
It's real weak. It's real weak.
I don't know. I don't see it like that though. But I get it. We all have different perspectives over it. You know, and that's the bottom line, like Stone Cold said. Ain't that Stone Cold? And that's the bottom line. But yeah, we all gonna have our differences on it. At the end of the day, Lewis is just one of these characters, and I think it just goes to the point that you really can have a lot of different conversations around this, because everybody's gonna see this in a different way. There are gonna be some people who see
depends on how
it depends on the experiences that you've had. I personally have 4 brothers. I have 4 different types of brothers. So I have 4 different types of men that I have been around, and I am the only girl. So I also see things differently than some other people can see things, just because of how I was raised, and I think it also has to do with a lot of times, like, what type of home you grew up in.
All of that factors in. It definitely does.
That's going to shape your thought process on how you see
if you're an alpha woman or things like
that. Can I ask one last question? Well, actually, I got one question and a follow-up.
Go with the question and the follow-up.
Does everybody here watch Sisters?
Mm-hmm.
Me.
Well, no, everybody don't. Everybody don't.
Okay, actually, so if you watch Sisters,
DJ watches the Teamer, but not Sisters. I watch Sisters.
Yeah.
Oh, but y'all the only two. Okay. Is Zach a good man?
Hell no. I'm sorry, my bad. I wasn't even trying to say that out loud.
We just was talking about this yesterday because we just reviewed the Teamer, and she ain't seen that much of Sisters. She just jumped on in with the Teamer. I've been with Sisters and the Teamer. Now, listen, it's times where I can see where Zach is coming from, and getting his background made me say, okay, I understand why he is the way he is. But I definitely would not say that he is good like everybody else. Be like, he the best thing since cooked rice, and
it feels the same to me. And since everybody can't relate, I'm gonna go through one more.
Wow, but I don't know Louis as
I'm not saying he is a one-to-one to Zach. If he's a one-to-one to anybody, I'm about to do something else. If anything, he is a one-to-one to Lawrence from season 1 of Insecure.
Okay,
Lawrence from Insecure. So you think Lawrence? Okay, I remember Insecure. So you saying that
season 1 Lawrence?
Season 1.
Yeah, that's when he was depressed and stuff.
He lost his job, right? He was depressed.
So
he didn't want to leave off the couch.
He was just like going through
depressed because he lost his job.
Communicating.
I'm indifferent about Lawrence from season 1. I don't know. That's a difficult one because Lawrence from season 1 was on my nerves, like real talk.
Child, listen, that's a whole nother discussion.
That's a whole
nother
topic.
Well, Lewis is on the list.
He had no motivation.
Lewis is on that list for me. Lewis is on the list of the, and not necessarily at the very bottom where Zach is, but it's Lawrence, it's Lewis, and a couple of other men. So I just asked so I can get a better understanding of how y'all view men.
We could have a discussion one day of all these different men on these TV shows.
He's a great character.
Yes, that would be really interesting.
Erica,
he did cheat on Lawrence.
Hold on, I can't hear. I'm sorry. What you say, EJ?
We need to do that show. What Tamika just said. Tamika, say it again, sweetie.
No, I said that would be very interesting. A good topic. These different men from the different TV shows. Have a little discussion around that because that one just was like, wait a minute, I had to think about that for a minute.
As long as we don't talk about Charles from BMF.
Oh Lord, yes.
Oh Lord,
it was going to go in.
Everybody, make sure y'all hit the like on everybody's channels. I know we had some people that was watching on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you at. We appreciate you. I wish this discussion could go on and on and on and on and on, but yeah, girl, I got some other things I got to do, y'all. Okay.
You got some videos.
It's been a long day, and my day is not over. But I do want to
real quick. What she think about Tony and this whole? Not Tony. I'm sorry, forget Tony. I mean Chanel and this whole thing. I mean,
one minute before y'all get into that, I do want to acknowledge these super chats.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Got money. Yeah.
All right, girls, get up. Y'all know.
Thank you, HFG. When Lewis said that he wished he wasn't having a baby, I said, that's a foreshadow. And then she gave another one and said, can y'all please help remind me of the cheating history? Did Jax kiss or sleep with another man first? Neither one of them cheated, in my opinion. They weren't together. They were separated. Anybody feel
One
different
got
about
more
that?
involved
No,
than
they
the other.
didn't.
They didn't actually cheat. Neither one of them cheated on each other. I just always say Jax was in a whole situationship because I felt like she was more involved than he was with her, but it wasn't cheating.
And still didn't come back with a break, baby. Wow.
They was wearing condoms. I ain't nobody saying Lewis wasn't right for real. That was stupid.
So, what you was asking, Inga? I'm sorry.
Oh no, I just want to know what she think about this whole. I know we spent all the time on Lewis, but what she feel about the whole Chanel thing? Wanted to know Erica's.
Yeah,
answer
what you feel about the Chanel thing, and what do y'all feel about this boy coming here talking about a damn proposal?
Yeah, forget him. Throw his ass in this fire back here. Forget Adrian.
I said, aren't the children visiting hours over? Take this child out of here, please. Someone come get that child. Because proposing through plexiglass is wild work.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's. No, she needs to get rid of him. Be done with him.
Do y'all think she considering it, Moochie?
I do think she's considering it, but I'm like, why? Why?
Because she love him. Don't y'all love? You say y'all love.
Yeah, nah, not this love.
Just she was in a situation and he was soothing her.
Different.
Soothing her. That's it.
Soothing her.
Not Sally talking about the condom broke, but he also said that he slept with her with no condom. So
he did say that, and he was like, "Oh,
he was with her 4 times, but one time he didn't wear the condom."
Because I'm like, how you gonna go by that, Lewis? Now we gotta, that
was a little gullible.
To her point about, I'm kind of starting to check out other trials, so I need them to give me, I guess, a little bit more of that. Not that I don't care, but the way that it's being integrated in the story, I'm struggling with the prosecutor, like being in the place of like actually being stalked and could have been abused before, but then still getting up there and saying things like Chanel provoked him and stuff. I'm like, girl, so you foolish for me. And I want them to kind of like get to it as it pertains to Chanel. I think the dragging on of like who actually did it is becoming a lot, and I'm starting to check out. I don't necessarily know if I believe that Sally did it. I do think that Sally's involved, and now I'm starting to wonder if her kids are involved as well. So
yeah, it's definitely more to it. And I mean, listen, this is the way they wrote the story, but I do feel like if you're looking for Jax to help you, and we said this a couple different times on our lives, then you needed to tell her so she could help you in the right way. And Jax came to you and literally knew that it was more to the story, even though she might have been going in the wrong direction, but you could have pointed her in the right direction. Instead, you sat there and basically just gaslit her and started trying to go flip the script on her, which that part pissed me off.
You sat your ass up there talk about some, you don't like women. Babe,
right.
Let me get my shit. Let me get my stuff.
Yeah. So,
I mean, Sally too, and we know that something is going on with Sally, and I'm like, come on, like, and then you come at Jax and tell her, like, because she's telling you what her issues are with Lewis right now, and then you gonna sit up there and tell her, like, act like that's going to keep her from doing her job. Ma'am, I just sat on the stand and interviewed my old husband's baby mama. Stop playing with me. I don't know if that had happened yet, but I'm just saying, stop playing. I can't stand Sally.
I don't like Sally either.
Sally's nasty work.
I wasn't really that much into the trial this particular episode either, because I was getting annoyed, like you said, and it's been every freaking person that come up there that the prosecutors always, so you know this, you know that. Yeah, that's why they have the damn job they have, miss. Like, I'm sure if they ask you stuff about whatever with law, you gonna know it too. So it was just kind of aggravating me. Plus, with us knowing what her situation is. But when Sally went off on that daggone stand, I was like, girl, you just keep showing your stuff more and more. Do y'all think anything gonna come of this? Finally we see Miss Candy.
I was wondering where she was gonna come in. So she had the baby. She had a baby with JT.
So is that the oldest daughter? I'm assuming she's the oldest daughter mother, and he took custody of her. That's what it sounds like.
I don't know, but I think so. I think that's what it is too.
Yeah.
So do y'all think it's the daughter?
I don't
think it's the
know.
daughter. I've always said that first is the daughter, then Sally started looking shaky.
Yeah, I was
I think
saying
it's
that
the
too.
daughter.
And I
But
said it's
that's
between
between
the daughter
Princess
and
but y'all
Sally.
made a good point earlier that this show might give us a twist, so it might not even be
Yeah.
Sally. Because
I
I'm
said
still
I think it's between the daughter and Sally.
Yeah.
Or Sally was there when the daughter did
Or
it.
Sally was there. Yeah, we definitely know Sally was there.
She was
I
there, so
definitely
they know.
believe that. Yeah.
And
now, if
then
anybody should get a divorce, is Chris should leave and get the hell away from
Hello.
Sally.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
gonna probably happen more than
now
likely.
that
yeah.
Erica is a toxic situationship right there. They need to
Yeah.
get divorced. They need to be out of there. I'm done with them too.
Yeah,
I don't even like
she did
Sally.
him dirty.
I could be just passing off my dislike for Sally off on that, but I don't think that she was right for that. Like, you don't go behind your husband back and put your whole house up. What if you weren't able to come up with the $2 million? Now y'all out on the street because of what? Because we not being honest. Because there is something that you're not telling everybody. The reason why you going so hard for this, and you not telling your husband. Now that I don't agree with.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Did anybody care about her finding this in
The vape, no.
Nah, these kids be doing too much.
So yeah, of course we know that she said they gotta tell everything. Sally looked like she ain't ready to tell everything, but I don't
She
know.
look flicks like a mother.
So
Yeah, she holding all kind of secrets from Chris. Chris gonna get the hell away from her.
exactly.
Jailhouse phone no longer a secure. I mean, is this secure or something? Because I'm
They
just trying
supposed to be recorded lines.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's a recorded line. So now they done really messed up. This is the part I don't. This is when you not really.
They probably not gonna bring it up though, because you know how they're trying to take unrealisms out of stuff. So they probably not even gonna bring it up.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Because this show is interesting. I like the twists and the turns, and that we don't know. We know some of the things that's gonna be going down until it goes down.
I was gonna say, don't be surprised if Jax find out about that, because you know they let the lawyers know with stuff like that.
Oh shoot! Wait a minute.
I'm
what
just
happened?
saying. Don't be surprised if Jax finds
I'm
out
not
about
used
that
to this
whole
layout. Yeah.
conversation,
Okay.
because they're you know, they listen if they do the part where they listen to phone calls.
I think that they just did that to push the storyline, and I don't think it's even gonna come up because I think we done seen too many shows where we know that they in there recording them doggone things and y'all on the thing talking out like doing the most and don't nobody ever bring it up. I think that's just a push the story type of I don't even think it's gonna come back up.
I could see that. But thank you, Erica, for coming up. I appreciate it. You
This
ladies
was a great conversation.
want to go around and give any last thoughts or overall of what you thought about this episode? I know we didn't do this our usual review. We kind of got caught up.
Yeah. But it was a good improv Tuesday.
It was a good conversation.
Overall, with this whole season, I'm loving it because look at what conversations just from the season so far it struck up. So I'm loving this, and I'm loving the soundtrack as well.
Oh yeah, the soundtrack be fire.
Oh yes.
EJ,
for sure.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Can we do it? Final thoughts?
Yes.
Final thoughts. I think the season is going great so far. I'm really sad that it's almost toward the end of it because we literally are on episode 8 right now, so we only have 2 more episodes left. I really enjoy our conversation, Erica V. You know I love you. Don't even try it. But yeah, I love all these conversations. I think that this show is a really good, well put together show, and I really hope they just leave it alone. Because all these cancellations are killing me right now. Like I'm just over
if they cancel this show, I'm done. I'm getting rid of Hulu.
I need them to let this one be. But yeah, this season so far so off to a good start, and it never fails. I probably still don't know who the hell did it. And that's the best part about it is that I'm going back and forth in my mind with who I think did it. And I think it just keeps you in this little roller coaster. They give you just enough. each and every week. So, I'm here for it. And thanks, Erica, for coming to our live and hanging out with us and speaking with us and talking to us and all that good stuff. And trying to read me, girl. Don't even.
I appreciate y'all even allowing me to come up, because I literally on my live just said, like, I don't necessarily go on like Twitter and all of that because it gets a little bit too toxic, but I did want to have a conversation with people who were rooting for Lewis, because I love the conversation of it, and I would love to like unpack it further. So I appreciate, you guys, like, that I saw it. Like, I had literally just left Brillo's channel. I'm like, all right, cool. And I'm like, popped in, and I'm like, this is great. Like, where the link at? So thank y'all for letting me come up. Thank y'all for letting me go off and creating space for me to just say my thoughts and being welcome to that. I really, really appreciate it. And hopefully I ain't pissed too many of y'all subbies off.
We ain't pissed off. Even if we disagree on some parts, we agree on some parts. So as long as it's somewhere in the middle, we good,
This was a good conversation because everybody, a whole panel is not going to agree on it.
Oh, yeah.
I hope they don't, because if they do, that's phony and fake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I like to push back. I like to push back, and you getting us at every turn. So
listen, I've been sitting with my critique of Lewis for quite a while, and I feel like this season I gotta get this. I feel vindicated because season 1 I did not like Lewis, and I was like, damn, I don't really fully have like I have little things, but it wasn't until we got the flashbacks, it wasn't until certain things popped up this season. I'm like,
that was confirmation for you.
It's so much confirmation this season. So now I'm on his.
So you ain't like
his
flashback. I'm totally on the opposite of seeing the flashback. The only part I did have a problem with was when he was trying to do his presentation and he couldn't take criticism.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she wasn't even really criticizing. She was trying to give him points.
Yeah, because if you going in a meeting and you got to do this presentation in front of the bosses, you got to come to them with a certain attitude. So I didn't see what she was telling him anything wrong. And he was like, oh, I don't need you to tell me. I'm like, but you just asked her for her dad for help.
Yeah,
so.
I was over here minding my black business over here.
I do get that part.
Yeah, I didn't like that. And I didn't like the fact of how he talked when he was talking to the son about the dancing or whatever it was. I didn't like that even. And we did get into his tale about that.
But you gotta look at it like this too. Remember, his brother's like that, so it was learned behavior, and he did correct himself.
Yeah,
he said he felt bad because he was like, "Oh, look how my dad."
I sound like I'm making excuses for him, Erica.
But he did acknowledge it.
But to me, if you had already seen that with your dad and you really are accepting of your brother, then how do you even lean into it to start?
It's like automatically.
It's one thing he did apologize, but you have to. This is what I'm saying about the lack of self-awareness that Lewis has. He has great intentions, but he is not executing and impactful in the way that he is executing.
Oh, thanks, Suburbia. Thank you so much. Team Erica is the
It's me and Team Suburbia, and then all of y'all. So listen, we rocking Team the Suburbia Jones effect. I appreciate you.
Don't jump on that because trust me.
This is the first time.
Right.
This is the first time.
You need to highlight that, PJ, and keep that on your page. And Suburbia said, Team
I don't care what everybody's talking about.
Candy loves to talk TVs in here too. Shout out to her. She comes
to Candy love. Yes. Inga, your overall thoughts?
Oh, listen, the overall thoughts of the whole show. I love the show. I love it. I'm sad it's getting ready to come to an end soon. I like the fact that, just like EJ said, I'm piggybacking on the same thing, is that I like that we don't know. And I think I say this every week too. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't give trailers and spoilers. And I like the fact that it's a twist and turn. It's like trying to put a puzzle together. You're trying to fit all the pieces. I'm still saying I'm thinking it's Sally that's doing it, but because the way they don't tell us things, it might be the mama might have did it. Who knows who could have did it? It could have been anybody. I mean, I doubt it was the mother, but however, it could be anybody. So
Candy Love, we don't speak that name. We ain't speaking that name right now. Okay, so it's time for that show to come back around.
Let me put my glasses on.
You highlight
Thank you,
Kendall's
Kendall.
comment.
I
look,
appreciate you, Kendall.
look,
No,
Which one?
get
what
off
is
of
wrong
Charles,
with you?
please, Lord.
Let's
I,
make
I,
it when Kendall's comment
Oh,
under
Kendall.
suburbias.
but
If
anyway,
y'all
I
thought I
love
was
it. I love
wild
the show and I
about
love the conversation.
if y'all thought I was wild about Lewis, the mama is right next to Lewis for me. So
Kendall says, Erica Vane, we love the passion you convey, but I still like Lewis. Love
Yeah,
you.
yeah, I still like Lewis too. She didn't convince me
Listen,
not to like Lewis.
you
Okay,
made
so
some good
I'm
valiant
Okay.
still
points.
riding with Lewis.
I think I
But
planted some seeds. That's all I
You
needed to
made some
do.
good valiant points. You have something to sleep on, but we still. I'm gonna go sleep on them. I'm gonna sleep on
Yeah,
them.
let's sleep
I'm
on
gonna
that
think
one,
about
right?
what she said though. I'm gonna think about it.
Yeah,
Well,
but
I
I
will
do
say
want us
my
to try
final
to put something
thoughts.
together for the men's of the universes, okay?
We're gonna do
But
that.
Erica, your final thoughts.
My final thoughts are more not about the show, but about this thing. Like, I didn't necessarily convince you to dislike Lewis, and I'm not necessarily here to do so. I am here and wanting more women to be okay and feel comfortable with calling more men in and calling more men up. If Lewis does and addresses any of the things that I pointed to, will he be a worse person or will he be a better person? And I think that that's what I want my critique to like leave with, like give people food for thought about.
Okay. Definitely. Moochie, what you got coming up next, girl? What the people could be expecting from you out here in these YouTube streets?
All right. So if you have, I did upload a video about Ray J doing the dirty work. So y'all need to look into that. Look at that video. And I also will be doing. I have to do found because I'm not caught up. I didn't even watch it yet, so I got that coming. I also have my final thoughts on Powers season 3. And we are gonna try to we're getting together to get together the finale show, and we're gonna have fun with that. So me, EJ, probably gonna be co-hosting that together. So we're gonna put something together for y'all with that. And what else we got going on? Oh, Aaron Hernandez, that's going on, and I believe we supposed to reschedule for Robin, so we're gonna do that also. All right. So keep y'all notifications on. Holler at your girl, and I'm trying to get it done.
Ow.
I
I was waiting.
Yes.
You was waiting for that? I was waiting. Aw.
EJ, what you got going on, girl?
Okay. Yeah, Candy, get up out of here. Get gone. Go to bed. I love you, boo. Let's see. On my channel, I just did. Tamika and I just did Found. So we are actually reviewing Found. If you're not watching Found, y'all need to be watching Found. Found is so freaking good. It's a very well put together show. Love that show. So we just did that, and then we also do From on Monday. We do Fight Night on Tuesday. And then Candy and I are actually going to be doing Queen's Court. It comes out on the 6th, so we'll start doing that next week. And then, like I said, Tamika and I do Found on, and I think Moochie going to join us too. But we do Found on Friday. Of course, we got this one. Book club is tomorrow, y'all. So if you are a family business fan and you are reading the family business, we doing the family business book 7. It's going to be in the Discord, so make sure you come through for that. I forgot what time it is. I think it's like at 8:15 Eastern. No. 8:15 Eastern time. Y'all know my time zones. I think it's 8:15 Eastern time. So definitely come through for that. And then I just dropped my power videos, my Zatima videos. Oh, and Tamika and I are doing Zatima too on Thursdays. I forgot about that. So definitely tune in for that as well. It's a lot. So
yes, ma'am. Inga, what you got going on, child? You've been getting busy.
It's so much stuff going on. I done forgot what the hell I got going on. So I can't even keep up with my own life. So yeah, this I gotta go back and rewatch the episode of Power again. Then I'll put up some video about it, or maybe do live and talk about it. I don't know when I'm gonna get it up, so but just keep the notifications on, and it'll be up probably over the weekend. And then let's see. Oh, Monsters. We're gonna finish up talking about these old Menendez monsters, and get them get that out the way. I'm kind of sick of talking about these guys now. But it looked like they about to get out of prison. So anyway, we'll talk about that. And that's on Sundays, a round table, bunch of people. And then what else is going on? Aaron Hernandez next week. And we're gonna do episodes 4 and 5. There'll be some other stuff, I'm sure. I can't even think right now, but I think I'm gonna try to get more documentaries out too. So, so I like doing documentaries. So we'll see. It's gonna be a lot of stuff going on. Now that the power's over, I can focus on something else now too. So,
Erica, I know you be busy. What you got going on?
Too dang on much, child. Too dang on much. I'm actually introducing From content, which I'm really excited about. Of course, I do Reasonable Doubt on Thursdays, but I also drop breakdown videos as well, so you can join me live or catch that. I'm doing Zatima, which is gonna be a hard thing to do.
Sound
because
excited
that's
about
not
that.
exciting.
You do not sound excited about that.
If Tyler gonna do anything, he gonna turn you every which way but loose for no damn reason. I also am really excited to start Penguin. So that is really good.
Oh,
I really enjoyed the first
Oh, that's
episode.
so good. That is so
That
good.
is
Yeah.
that is good.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
try
It's
to
just
talk
so
about
much
that.
stuff to watch.
Yes, it's so
I just
much.
know
It's
I'm trying to
so
find
much.
the time.
Yes,
Yeah,
I've been
it's
trying
hard,
to
it's hard.
catch up, y'all. That's why I'm behind right now. I'm so behind. My
I'm gonna talk about
Zatima is late. My Reasonable Doubt is late. My Power is late. I can't tell y'all when y'all gonna get it, but y'all gonna get it. Better late than never. Tonight I gotta record my Love After Lockup, and tomorrow I'm doing Self-Care Saturday and what you should be watching. So come through, y'all, if you can. If not, catch the replay. Make sure that y'all hit the like, y'all subscribe. Show everybody some love on all of their channels. Join the
Subscribe to
Discord if
everybody.
you're not
Yeah.
already in the Discord. And y'all have a good night. Thank y'all for joining us.
Bye, y'all.